We've been hearing, seeing, noticing some posts, some coming across some videos also about this exact word, overfeeding. And it has been said it has been said by many fish farmers that once you overfeed them, your fishes will die, some will get sick, some won't grow well, or you're gonna run at loss. Well, before I go further in this conversation or topic or discussion, I want you, wonderful family of mine, to do well by hitting on the subscribe button. Be part of this wonderful family. It's an educative channel, so you have to just subscribe to be part of us. Hit on the bell icon you see on the video to be notified whenever a new video is dropped. So now, before we started this, I was talking about the overfeeding itself, and many people portrayed it, the word overfeeding. Well, I want to be truthful. I want to be sincere with you, and I don't want you to panic about whatever you're gonna hear or you're gonna get informed in this channel. Whatever I tell you is the absolute truth. Don't let anyone squeeze money out of you. Don't let anyone deceive you. Don't let anyone lie to you. Because everyone is going to try to be professional, but let the truth be told. There's a difference between doing something for a reason and doing something because you love doing it. Once you love doing it, for example, when you have a dog, a bird, a cat, when you love doing something, you realize you get to know these things very, very well. They might not speak the English language, but you could tell someone, oh, this is what this thing is doing, this is what it means, this is what it's trying to say, this is what it's trying to do. You could easily interpret their attitude, their character, their nature, whatever. You can know when they are hungry, when they are upset. You can know when they want to pee. You can know when they want to poo. You can know when they are happy. Everything, because of you love what you're doing. And once you love what you're doing, there's a natural bond that get attached to this thing. We all are doing something, but it doesn't mean everyone loves what they are doing. You might be doing because of the financial gains, so that is aside. So that's why I said I'm just going to educate you and give you pure knowledge about what this overfeeding is all about, which you've been hearing from different platforms and people. But let it be known to you that I am not trying to belittle anyone or trying to tarnish anyone's productivity or information or whatever. All I'm doing to this family right here is making sure you're guided about certain things, and part of those certain things are the topic we're dealing right now, called overfeeding of your fish. Overfeeding of your fish, especially the catfish. Overfeeding of your fish. And before I go further, let me let you understand something. I'm going to use the human being system to start this. Just like you are as a human being, once you are hungry for a very long time, you've been very hungry, all of a sudden you saw food, there's a tempo you eat this food, because you're happy, because you've finally seen food. And as you keep eating it, you won't be as fast as how you were when you started eating, when you saw this food. And you will eat to your satisfaction. You might have a protrude belly or a protrude stomach. It's swollen. You're gonna let me just use the word, you're gonna eat to your utmost satisfaction. But I'm gonna ask a question: will this thing kill you because you have a large belly, you've eaten to your satisfaction, you've overfed? Because that's the same word. You've overfed yourself. It won't kill you. The only thing that you're going to notice that it's going to give you some discomfort, and you won't have the ability to get into activities, because if you try to indulge or put yourself into any activity, you end up feeling some kind of ache, some kind of pains. You won't feel easy. It won't be easy. You get my point? So all you have to do at that very moment is give yourself some rest. Maybe you want to lie down, you want to just relax for the main time being, till a part of it is you feel some kind of freeness in you to involve into activities. Now let's go back to your fish chemistry. Let's go back to your fish body system. Your God created everything, fish, human being, animals, in a very, very wonderful way, in a way whereby they know when to stop eating. They know everything about, they know threats, they can sense danger. They have things that could, like those things in your fish that comes out, those things that look like an antenna, has so many functions it does for the catfish. It helps them to realize danger, what part the danger is. Whenever the danger touches those things, or whenever you touch those things, they react. You get my point? At the same time, whenever they feel, oh, food is coming, whenever that food touches that thing, they know where to turn their head to know that, oh, this is the direction of where the food is. So it acts as many functions to them. Those things you see protruding out of their mouth that looks like antenna. So how can you overfeed your fish? My fellow families right here, there's no way you can ever overfeed your fish. Do you know, once you throw that food into the pond, depending on the rate where you've taken time before you fed them, but once you throw the food in that pond, you realize something. You see the aggressive nature which they show in feeding on that food. Because why? They are hungry, and to them, they don't understand if you have that food in excess. They don't know it. But right there in that water, to them, in their own brains, in their own mental state, in their own mentality, they feel, oh, this food might not be enough. We have to fight for survival. And that's when you see the aggressive nature. It's becoming a survival for the fittest. And that's why at the end of the day, if you have other fishes, some don't end up eating to their satisfaction. Not like they are not eating. They might take 2 grains, they might take 3 grains, they might take one of the feed, they might take just a little bit, but they will not eat to their satisfaction, because there are some ones that in that water that have aggressively fought their way through to make sure they eat to their satisfaction. And you will notice something after they are done eating. You realize those that are okay. And that's why once you are feeding your fish, please, 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 don't just throw food and leave. Don't. That's why you see some are bigger than ones, you see some are smaller. And no, don't throw your food and leave. There's no point of you just throwing food. Like you felt, okay, your normal ideology or your normal idea, you feel, when I throw it, I feel this should be enough. Don't. Because just like human beings, it's the same thing with the way they are. You can't decide how hungry they will be. The way they're gonna be hungry yesterday might be different from the way they're gonna be hungry today. And the more they grow, the more they will need food. You get my point? The more food they consume. Don't let anybody deceive you. The more they grow, they take less food. That's a lie. The more they grow, the more food they will consume, because they are expanding, and so is their stomach or their belly or their tummy getting bigger. So they need food. They need food. Food is what forms that body you see that looks big. They need food. And sometimes you can realize when they were fingerlings, when you feed them 1 hour, you go back to feed them, you feel they don't eat much anymore. You see food floating because they are still fingerlings. But when they start growing, After 1 hour, even when you go to a little bit, you still see them coming to eat. That's it, because they are getting bigger. The more bigger they become, the more the consumption they take in. So back to our overfeeding discussion. Once you throw in that food, after they are done eating, after the aggressive showing and everything, after eating, trying to survive, enjoying your meal, they go down, which you didn't notice because you were busy enjoying the aggressive nature. They go down, swim around a bit, then come up to remove that bubble. That thing, when they breathe, there's a kind of bubble that show. They do that in excitement. Oh man, I enjoy this meal that my boss just gave me. You see them running. You can realize some might run in very fast motion. I'm just using that word to just make it fun, but you're gonna realize, you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm enjoying this meal. I enjoy this meal." They talk to you, they say, "Oh, do you realize that that meal was very delicious?" Yeah, like they're swimming around. You realize all those things. Then, due to the fact that they are overfed, overfeeding can never kill your fish. Overfeeding can never make your fish sick. Overfeeding has nothing to do with them. Overfeeding only makes them very, very much okay. Once they are overfed, you realize after all the gratitude they've shown you, running around a bit, which they won't do for a very long while, the next thing you're gonna see is you're gonna see them standing in a very horizontal position, just like this. You can see my hand, and that's, you see them that way. That moment, they feel heavy. They're heavy at that moment, so they can't do anything. The same way you're going to overfeed yourself to your belly, or your stomach, or your belly protrude or comes out. You know you can't run during that moment. You know you can't do anything at that moment. You can't even stress yourself, because at that time, if you do that too much, you start having some kind of ache in that stomach. So all you have to do that moment is rest. The same thing your fish is gonna do. They're gonna rest, stay in that position, each for each. And sometimes some just want to just swim a little bit, touch the other person, and the person gonna feel that reaction that, oh, someone touched me. Then he too, because he has overfed, he has eaten well, he's gonna just go a bit, then swim a little bit, then stay back in that position. Please, there's nothing wrong with your fish. You will realize that there's totally nothing wrong with them. They enjoyed what you did for them. They enjoyed your meal. They are happy at that moment, and they are resting so the food can work in their body system. They are very well okay. They won't die. That can't kill them. Nothing is gonna happen. And do you know they have their limits? You can never overfeed them. There's nothing you can do. And that's the reason why when you keep pouring that feed, you keep pouring that feed, you keep pouring that feed, at the time in time you're gonna realize nobody's eating anymore. The reason why nobody's eating anymore is because they are perfectly okay. They're reaching their level, their gauge. The stomach has protruded. If you have very neat water and you're doing that, you're gonna realize it. You're gonna realize that the stomach is gonna come out. You will be able to see it very well, especially when you have fishes that are big in size. You're gonna realize that protruded stomach. Even when they stand in that nature, you're gonna see the stomach showing. It's gonna just show that curvy shape. You're gonna see that stomach. You're gonna protrude out. Nothing's gonna do them. Give them for 3 hours. You're not gonna see that stomach anymore. It's gone down before that digested. So you can't kill your fish. The only thing you can even realize, because the way they enjoyed the boss meal. Oh, my boss meal is so delicious. I enjoyed what the boss gave me, and they're just swimming, discussing about you, having fun in the water, being happy. If you throw something else, they will still go because of they just want to, oh, this food is so interesting, I can't just stop eating it. They go back to try and eat it. But you notice one thing about them, you realize that some end up vomiting out food. Why they are vomiting food is because they were trying to force food into their cell because they enjoy the food, but the body could not take it. The body had let them understood that it is enough. We have reached the gauge. You can't swallow anything inside it because there's nowhere this one is going to go. Every place is tight. It's gonna then the fish is gonna what? Vomit it, and you're not gonna see him struggle to eat any more food. It's just gonna go somewhere and rest, and then you're gonna see having floating fluids all over the water. So you can't overfeed your fish. Don't let anyone deceive you. You can't feed them to the extent that you say they're gonna die. Fishes know their gauge, they know their limits. Once they are okay, they are okay. They're gonna leave that spot you feed them immediately. For the other ones that are not okay, to keep feeding. And once the other ones are okay, you realize something, you're gonna see bubbles. Whoever is okay is gonna give you bubbles. Watch that and watch that closely. You're gonna realize you're gonna come out and give that bubbles thing and go back in. And after a little bit of gratitude, telling you thank you, trying to shake around, feeling of enjoyed, feeling all the sweetness of your meal, enjoyed everything, the next thing is they're gonna rest, and the resting period might end up to their sleeping period, but they're gonna be in that position, that horizontal position, with their head up and the tail down, just like this, their head, tail down, just like this, and that's how they're gonna remain until that meal is digested for the next meal you're gonna bring to them. So our next video we're gonna discuss what could be the main cause of why there is death occurring among your fishes, why that is happening. First, overfeeding can't be the reason, because overfeeding is a kind of giving them food in the best way. I won't call it the best way because they eat to the satisfaction. You're not cheating them of food. You give them food to their satisfaction, and that's why you're having a protrude stomach. When you see the protrude stomach, oh, they enjoyed it, they ate to the satisfaction. So you can't kill them by giving them food for them to be ultimately okay, for them to be very okay. So they are very okay. That's why you see that. And if they are, there's one thing you need to know: if they are very old, if they've taken more than what they can hold, they're going to vomit it. There's nothing you can do about it. They will expel it out of their mouth. You're gonna see it. They're gonna vomit it. If your water is neat enough, notice it. While you're feeding some, there are some that will still want to try to force themselves to take in. Realize some will still will try to bring it back out of their mouths. They're gonna pour it out of their mouth. They're gonna vomit it because the body can't hold it anymore. It is tight already inside there. All they have to do is release a little bit out of it and rest. It is their body system. It is the way their body mechanism works. They know how they do it. So you can't kill them feeding them. You can't. As long as you're giving them something nice, as long as you're giving them their food, even if you pour all the old bags of your food inside the pond, they're gonna take the one they're gonna take that's gonna be okay for them. The remaining is just gonna be on the pond floating and contaminating the water. But you can't tell me, oh, overfeeding, they're gonna feed too much, and it means anything you pour, they're gonna eat. The more you keep pouring, they're eating. The more you keep pouring, they're eating. The more you keep pouring, they're eating. That's a big lie. They can't keep eating the more you keep pouring. They eat to their satisfaction, and that's your business. You want to keep pouring. No one is gonna eat what you're pouring or putting in that water anymore. Once they are okay, they are okay. The remaining are just waste, because they just be in that water floating, or if you're having a sink feed, they sink down there, and all they do is pollute and contaminate the water. It doesn't have anything they're gonna do with it anymore because they are okay. You also have to give them several hours before they can say, oh, they want to eat. But once they are okay, they are okay. So I believe this is well understood. And if you have any more questions concerning this topic, please put it down on the comment section, and do well to subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever I drop a video.